How would you like to make £500,000 profit on just one property deal in 2021? In this video, I'm going to share with you the 7 key skills you need to pick up to do just this. And stay tuned to the end and I'll share with you a massive planning bombshell, which no one is talking about, which is going to make what I'm talking about so much easier in the months to come. Hi, I'm Ranjan Bhattacharya. I've been a property investor and developer for the last 30 years. You may have seen me on the hit Sky TV show Property Elevator or attended one of our central London Baker Street property meets. If you just discovered this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon. We put out new content each and every week. It's all dedicated to keeping you on top of your property game. So yes, you heard me right. In this video, I'm going to talk about a property deal done in 2021. One single deal generating £500,000 profit. And quite frankly, there's no reason why you couldn't have done this deal too if you knew about the 7 key skills you need to do deals like this. I'm going to talk about those 7 key skills, and I'm going to also share with you a massive bombshell, which is going to make doing this sort of stuff a whole lot more simpler in the months to come. So in a previous video, I shared with you this property which we picked up at auction in February 2021. Now basically it's a couple of shops with some unused empty office space above. Now this deal was purchased at auction, a public auction, open to everyone and anyone. Now that means anyone could have had it. You could have had it too, if you knew the strategy. And that is the thing with these sort of projects. Very few people actually know and understand and can recognize these opportunities, even if they stare them in the face. So what's so special about this deal? Well, it's a couple of shops on the ground floor. Those shops are let, but it's the space above that's interesting because that's unoccupied, very ancient, tired-looking 1980s style office space. Now basically, it's been empty for a couple of years, this space above the shops. No one wants that kind of space. It's tired, it's tatty. Small businesses don't tend to want spaces above shops anymore. They want serviced office buildings which are a little bit more sleeker and sexier than these sort of spaces can offer. So the issue is those 2 floors of tired office space aren't worth very much. But if on the other hand you could get permission to convert those to residential space, you will generate a massive and instant uplift in value. Because typically in most areas you'll find that office space, particularly shabby office space, is valued at often 1/3 or 1/4 of the value of residential space per square foot. So what stops you in converting that commercial space into much higher value residential space? Well, it's the planning system, of course, and I've talked in previous videos how the planning system is broken and unfit for purpose, and that's where permitted development comes in. Permitted development is basically light touch planning approval. The problem with planning permission is that when you apply for planning permission on anything, you've got no idea whether you're going to get it or not, and you've got no idea whether it's going to take you 8 weeks or 2 years or never. It's complete uncertainty. The thing with permitted development is that there's a checklist of criteria that your site, your application has to follow, and provided you follow it and it checks out, basically you will get your permission. And the wonderful thing is what they call the prior approval process has a 56-day time limit on it. In other words, the local authority has to give you an answer within 56 days. This is great news for small developers because if you know what you're doing, you can go out and find sites which fit the template for permitted development, which allow you to get these approvals in 56 days and convert disused commercial space into much higher value residential space with the greatest of ease. So of course, knowing the specific criteria that you have to follow to get these applications passed, you put in what you call a prior approval notice to the council, 56 days, and you get your piece of paper here, which basically says this. So here it is, prior notification, change of use from offices, use class B1A to residential class C3 to accommodate 4 residential units. All approved, a little bit of gobbledygook about, what some extra conditions are, just granted a few days ago, and basically you got 3 years in which to carry out all the works and you're good to go. So that's how simple it is. Under planning, to get something like that approved would be an absolute nightmare. But here's the magic about doing this sort of thing. Just getting this paper immediately uplifts the value of that piece of real estate. Because what you have in this piece of paper is the permission to convert the low value, unused, unwanted, unloved commercial space into 4 residential apartments. If you're liking this video, make sure you smash that like button. Let me know what you think in the comments below as well. So just getting that piece of paper gives you one bulk of uplift in value. The second uplift in value will of course come from building the 4 flats out. There's an abundance of these sort of deals and opportunities out there all over the country. Now this is really exciting, and I'm going to make you wait until the end of the video before I drop this bombshell. Now I had to go through a 56-day process, a very light touch process to get this approval. But guess what? You may not even have to do that in the future. Stay tuned till the end and I'll explain exactly what I mean. Now, if you're interested in doing deals like this, because the opportunity is now, and what you need to do is pick up 7 key skills in order to fully exploit these sort of opportunities which are around all over the country. But if you want to know more, I'm actually running a free 90-minute masterclass to explain how you can find commercial property opportunities like this and reel them in for yourself. Now, if you want to register for a free spot on one of these masterclasses, now places are limited, so just do it straight away. You can do so at this website here, property-workshop.com, or click on the link in the description below. If you want to do deals like this, you basically need to learn and master 7 key skills. Number 1, you need to know the A to Z of what you can and can't do under permitted development. Don't bother with planning permission. It's too complicated, it's too messy, it's too uncertain. There's so much you can do now under permitted development. Permitted developments are getting more straightforward, if anything else. And it's about learning them and figuring out what the opportunities are. Number 2, it's once you've got this sort of requirements list of permitted development opportunities, it's learning to go out and find them, whether it's at auctions like this particular deal, or through commercial agents, or using direct-to-vendor marketing strategies. Number 3, you need to know how to evaluate these deals fast. Basically, crunch the right numbers. Most people look at commercial property deals and find them very, very difficult to value, very, very difficult to evaluate. But you need to know exactly how to do this quickly. Skill number 4 is to learn how to create and negotiate win-win offers, which basically allow you to actually do these sort of deals using the minimum of your own funds. Join me on the free 90-minute masterclass and I'll share with you a lot more about that. Skill number 5 is to learn about commercial funding and how to raise commercial finance. Skill number 6 is about finding commercial tenants. When you're dealing with commercial property, you're either going to be converting commercial buildings to alternative commercial uses, or converting commercial buildings into mixed uses, in other words, mixed residential commercial uses. And number 7 is to learn about the tax. There are so many interesting tax breaks and anomalies, such as capital allowances, the treatment of VAT on commercial properties, which really, if you learn, will bring you extra icing on the cake to the commercial property deals that you do. So get skilled up on all of that and you'll be able to do really cracking commercial property deals like the one I've talked about in this video. If you want to know more about this, of course, I'm doing the free 90-minute masterclass. I'll deep dive into some specifics and share with you more examples and some more figures on some of these deals so you can see what these are actually all about. Now on to that bombshell I was telling you about, this planning bombshell, which is very interesting news indeed. Now, let's start with a little bit of history. I did my first commercial to residential conversion back in 2006. And back then, this was done under full planning application. And it was a pain in the ass, quite frankly. It was a long-winded process. It felt like a constant battle. And I did quite a few of these commercial to residential conversions in the years after 2006. Then in 2013, it was amazing. they introduced the first lot of permitted development for commercial to residential conversions. This allowed you to do things like office to residential conversion, things like retail to residential, make flats behind shops and stuff like that. So these were pretty good. These allowed me to do what I was doing pre-2013, but in a much more light touch way and far more simply than I could ever do before. Earlier this year, they announced something even better, because those rights that they introduced in 2013 were only applicable to a few buildings, a few commercial building types. Then, earlier this year, what they announced, the government announced, was a new permitted development rule called Class MA. We've done some videos on this, I'll put the link up there. So these Class MA rules come into force on the 1st of August. Now, this is unique. They've never done this before in terms of, normally they release a new rule and it's just released. What they've done is they've said, this is the rule. Here it is in black and white. And it comes into force in a few months' time. It comes into effect on 1st of August. That means if you get to grips with this now, you can go out shopping and prospecting for properties right now that fit the template for these new MA permitted development rules coming in on August the 1st. Now, what are they? Well, they basically allow you to convert more types of buildings than ever before into residential space. So that's space above restaurants, for example. It's places like gyms, it's doctors' surgeries, dentist practices. It's a whole load of building types that you couldn't previously convert under the old permitted development rules. Now for the bombshell. When we applied to convert the space above those two shops into 4 flats, we had to do so under what's called the prior approval process. So you actually have to submit a request to the council. They have 56 days to go through it, and then they grant you your prior approval. There is a type of permitted development where you don't even have to notify the council of anything, and that is something called Class G. So currently under Class G, you can do stuff like you can make 2 flats above an existing retail premises without actually even notifying the council at all. You're good to go. You can get on with it. So Class G has been a very interesting route for many small developers to just bung 2 flats above a shop without really asking anyone anything. And we all thought that was going to disappear on 31st of July, and it's going to be replaced with the new Class MA. But take a look at this, which just was released earlier this month, published 13th of May. It's one of these consultation documents from the government, and it's an open consultation, lovely title, Technical Consultation on Consequential Changes to Permitted Development Rights. Now, buried in all this waffle, there's some very, very interesting little snippets. Now, what does this mean? Consultation, first of all, means it's not law yet. It's an open consultation. The government will take the feedback from this open consultation and then effect changes to the law. Now, so far, the direction of travel from this government has been really in favour of light touch red tape as far as development and redevelopment goes. So all the other planning consultations which have gone before have pretty much gone through unscathed, if you like, and favoured development. So what does this one say? Well, buried in all this stuff is this very interesting section here, which talks about the change to the existing Class G right. So as you can see here, this is what Class G allows you to do at the moment. So you can take space A1 premises, A2 premises, and if there's space above those A1 and A2 premises, you can basically turn those into a mixed-use property comprising ground floor commercial and up to 2 flats above those premises. Now, that rule came in 2013 and has been with us up till now, and only applied to shops which were in usage class A1 and A2. Now, here is what they're proposing. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, I'm just flabbergasted. There's a whole load more in this document, and that's for other videos, by the way. But anyway, this is just flabbergasting. So highlighted here is what they're planning to do. They're basically saying, well, that the old A1 shops and A2 shops have been moved into usage class E. Let's just allow you to do 2 flats above any building that is in usage class E. And of course, usage class E, as you'll know from some of my other videos, includes all these different types of building types. So can you believe it? And here is the question in the consultation, question 3. This is a public consultation, by the way. Do you agree that existing class G should be broadened to allow up to 2 flats for basically anything in class E? Well, yes, no, don't know. You know! Respond to this goddamn consultation and say yes, yes, yes. So I better wrap up this video because all these changes are getting me too excited right now. But there's a whole host of stuff you can do right now under rules today. The rules are getting even more simpler and broader come 1st of August. And there are consultation documents that are out there to make it even simpler than that still. The time to get clued up on all things commercial is right now. That's why I'm running this special 90-minute masterclass on the subject. I'm going to share with you a lot more of the opportunities, a lot more on the figures, and some practical case studies and examples of how you can capitalize on what is the biggest opportunity in property right now and over the next few years. So join me in the next video. Also join me in the 90-minute free masterclass. Make sure you smash that like button and let me know what you think about this video and what I'm talking about in the comments below. See you guys soon.